morning, Captain Whitaker.
Here's your manifest with 102 souls on board.
Let's get them tucked in. We're ready to push.
Hey guys, I am Mothman Jones, and today's feature review is for another New York Film Festival exclusive early debut of the newest Robert Zemeckis directed film, Flight. Flight stars Denzel Washington, John Goodman, Bruce Greenwood, and Don Cheadle. It's important to note that this is Rob Zemeckis' first live-action film since Castaway, and Castaway came out 12 years ago. That's insane. The plot basically revolves around Denzel Washington's character, who plays a captain, a pilot, call the occupation what you will, and he has a lot of issues with his past. He has an alcoholic problem, and he's just going off to work one day to take a flight to Atlanta, Georgia, and on the way there, something on the plane goes wrong. Denzel Washington finds a way to land the plane in the safest way possible by inverting the plane upside down and then crashing it onto a field. And by salvaging this plane and saving most of the passengers' lives, he becomes this American hero. Life can never be that easy, though, because rumors eventually start going around that Denzel might have been under the influence as he was piloting this plane. And that leads to a very intense character piece. Now, the main reason I was looking forward to this movie was because of Robert Zemeckis, and he's directed some of my favorite films of all time. I mean, first of all, we got Back to the Future, top 5 of all time, Forrest Gump, Castaway. He is a great director, one of the best. And I really could not pass up the opportunity to see this movie early, not for bragging rights, just because I was very psyched to see what would happen with this film. I wasn't convinced at first, but after thinking about it for the last 2 or 3 hours, Flight is an extremely captivating film. Aside from this main plot narrative that revolves around this conspiracy with the alcoholism that Denzel's character is facing, this movie is purely driven by the characters and the actors themselves, and all the actors do a great job of carrying the audience through this film. Especially Denzel Washington, who carries this movie on his shoulders. John Goodman plays this very small role, but it's very obscure and funny, and it's very memorable. I was also impressed by Bruce Greenwood, who I didn't think would do much in this movie, but he does have a few scenes where he gets to show off his acting props. The character that Denzel plays in this movie does evolve immensely through the course of this film, and Denzel makes this evolution very believable. For the most part, I thought he had a good performance, and then there was one point in the film where it just struck me that he deserves an Oscar nomination for Best Actor. The way that this story was told really felt Robert Zemeckis-esque, and the film overall just came together very well composed. The movie's a little bit over 2 hours, and it does kind of overstay its welcome, but for the most part, the movie is very engaging and emotionally investing. The movie was strictly character-driven, and it was a little bit slow-paced, but I didn't mind it because I was very engaged. But I could see why certain people would kind of lose focus in the midway. During the course of the second act, I didn't feel any real highs and lows. There was definitely points of the film where Denzel Washington's character had these ups and downs and just moments where you felt bad for him or you felt happy for him. But nothing really sank to an all-time low or an all-time high. It just maintained a little, hill. But then the ending happened. If you know Robert Zemeckis, you know the endings of his films are very emotionally impactful, and they just bring together this sense of wonder and awe, and they almost make you want to cry, and it almost happened to me. The movie is based around this character strictly, and you go through the film through him, and he is one of the most flawed characters I've ever seen in a Robert Zemeckis film, and the film in general. It's extremely depressing, actually. The last 15-20 minutes or so in this film was so well executed that any flaws you had with the rest of the movie before that, you could forgive that. If you've seen Robert's previously directed movies, you will definitely notice parallels and similarities with the whole movie in general, but especially the last act. And with this film, the soundtrack and the composed score were just amazing. All that needs to be said is that the Rolling Stones are part of the soundtrack. Along with the actual soundtrack, which was one of the best soundtracks for a movie I've heard all year, the actual composed score is very subtle and very piano-esque. It doesn't really expose its true form until the end of the film with the end credits, and I sat there and listened to it for a little bit, and it was absolutely beautiful. And that's all I have to say, folks. Flight was a very emotionally engaging, character-driven piece. It certainly shows that Robert Zemeckis, even though he hasn't made a live-action movie in over a decade, he hasn't lost a step. He still has the touch.
And he still has the power! Yeah!
And without Denzel Washington's captivating, immersive, and Oscar-worthy performance, this movie would not have been as special. This film is going to get 4.5 out of 5 stars. Knock the 0.5 off because the movie could be slowly paced at points, and I was thoroughly engaged, but other people may have not been. Please trust me on this, guys, but when this comes out in November, please check out Flight. It's a great film, and you won't regret it. When you do see it, let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. Please like this video and subscribe up there if you enjoyed this review. Also like my Facebook and Twitter accounts on my channel. I am John from Mothman Jones Reviews. See you next time.
We're gonna start power!
Brace for impact. No one could have landed that plane like I did.